Lunchtime.
Mm-hmm.
We just had a really funny, hilarious discussion that you guys aren't privy to now.
Probably won't make the air.
Yeah, we have all our best discussions right before lunch.
It's the
we're gonna launch a pre-lunch.
It's the
premium
Bald Move Club, and only Jim and I are members. Everyone else stay the fuck out the treehouse.
But for just $100 a month, you too.
I don't know, like what started it, and maybe I can dip our toe into the water and see where we're comfortable walking it back to. But so I was watching Annabelle last weekend because I was on a Conjuring high.
I don't know what that is.
So Annabelle is the movie
that
came out between the Conjuring and Conjuring 2.
Right.
It's not doesn't have any of the same people in it, but it's based on that universe. It's based on the Annabelle doll and how it came into people's possession. And I found it to be a very unsatisfying addition to the Conjuring series. It only had like 1 or 2 effective jump scares, no genuine like creep or dread or anything. And also, dolls just aren't scary. Like there's this kind of fucked up Victorian era doll.
Chucky, and it's beg to differ.
Well, the thing is Chucky had personality. He could get up and cut you.
Oh, he would. Yeah.
This doll just was the conduit for some demon, and up until like the last third of the movie, the doll itself never does anything. The scariest it does is like the demon picks it up and waggles it around. Like it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't talk. It does. I was like expecting the whole movie for it to fucking blink or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, and this goes for Chucky too, you little fucker. I don't know why people don't fuck with the dolls.
Well,
like I had a couple. I like, you know, get a wood borer out, bore a hole in it, and like get unspeakable, just degrading, terrible acts that you get up with this doll, and they're like, look, you can stop fucking with my family, or this is just going to get worse. I've got a wood chipper in my garage. I've got a Sawzall. I've got a Dremel tool. I'm going to get medieval on your ass and not feel a bad thing about it because you're a fucking doll.
Right.
Like, here's the thing. It's like, oh, Aaron, you're essentially talking about the rape of a doll and perhaps a disembodied spirit of a serial killer woman. A, it's a doll. B, it's a ghost. Neither of those things are fucking real.
Right.
Even if they were, it's a serial killer, and I'm granting that this is happening to me. I'm losing. Yeah, it's fucking my family. These are real things happening to me. So I've either like I've lost my mind, and I'm a man fucking a doll. You gonna judge me for that? No.
Well, as much as I judge anyone who
if the ghost woman doesn't like it, she can quit fucking with my family and get the fuck out of the doll.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem with like trying to enact revenge on a demon, like a demon trying to get payback. They don't have a physical form. What can you do to them?
You can fuck with them.
But the doll's not the demon, right? Like,
well, I like to see how badass Beelzebub is when he's walking funny the next day because he wanted to ride out this whole doll thing.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, like, you got to give up your possession, right? Like,
yeah,
okay, I possess this doll. Well, now he's fucking it, and
like, look, possess me or kill me or
ears off.
What you can possess me, you can kill me, you can take my soul, whatever the fuck you want to do, demon. But what's not going to happen is this 6-month campaign of slowly keeping dread and terror on my family. Fuck that. Fuck that. The wood borer is coming out after about the second night of this shit. Second night that you got off of your shelf and you walked over to the rocking chair and you scared my wife, the wood borer is coming out.
The problem is demons are just too powerful.
Are they?
That's the thing. Yeah, they can do literally anything they want to do.
They haven't done shit to me, and that's not for lack for me trying.
Right. We're not talking real life here.
Okay.
I'm talking in universe. They can do literally anything, right?
Yeah.
They could turn this doll into a Tyrannosaurus Rex and it can come eat you.
Yeah.
They could suck you through a wall and turn your hair into turnips. I don't know. It's like
well, that would be terrible. Turnips.
Just dangling dreadlock turnip like.
Oh my god.
They can do anything. So how do you fight against?
I would start with the wood borer and see like, look, it just gets worse from here.
Right. I guess my point is
I'm going to sit you down and make you watch season 3 of Game of Thrones. What just happened?
Nothing. We're good.
Okay. I'm going to sit you down and make you watch season 3 of Game of Thrones and be like, where Ramsay finished with Theon, that's where I'm just going to get started. So keep this shit up, please.
Joke's on you. It's a Ken doll and it has no anatomy.
I can fashion it some anatomy just so I can take it away. I'm telling you, like, just please get off that fucking shelf and creep up on that rocking chair. I want you to at this point. I want you to.
Okay.
It's time for me to let my demons out.
We need
See,
to pause.
this has got disturbing. What's happened?
I apparently didn't embed the video. How did that happen?
I don't know. So my epic.
Well, people are going to see and hear it eventually, just not at the moment. Let me. How do I get the? I can't do it from here.
I cannot. This is the second time. Like, all my best rants get cut off by technical errors. Like the fucking Well, it wasn't overstock. It was that goddamn Pandora gift bangle thing commercial that I went off on.
Right.
Lost.
Yeah, that just got mangled by bandwidth.
Do you think like my
issues.
negative psychic energy like just overloads the internet and it
well,
gets
this
all fucked up?
Was my fault. Just update this here.
I'm just saying.
I don't know how that happened.
Do I have to get the wood borer out, Jim?
You might. You'll have to fashion me some anatomy first.
That's what the wood borer is for. What's funny is I actually think I do have one.
Oh, you're going cross-gender anatomy here, huh?
This is going to be a dark episode of Lwj&A Run. Don't I? I thought I did for drilling holes in this here table.
I don't know.
Yeah, look at that. This fucker right here's got your name on it.
Oh God.
1.5 inches more than I need.
With room to spare. Oh my God. This is one hell of a lunch, people. And I'm just getting started. I haven't even drank half my Bloody Mary.
All right. So do we have a potential audience now?
I believe so.
Okay. Are we trying the Twitter?
Well, we don't yet because Game of Thrones is still fucking our website. It is a fashion anatomy for our website.
Okay. So what else do we want to talk about? Do you want to talk about the start of Mr. Robot? Because we still have a show that we have to keep going. I'm desperately trying to keep this plate spinning.
Well, yeah, I mean, I want to talk about that, but I don't want to talk into the ether. I don't want to shout into the void here.
Well, I mean, you know, we're also recording for the podcast posterity.
Yeah, I've already marked an edit point.
Oh,
all the shit's coming out.
Not all the shit.
Some of this shit is coming out.
I found the wood borer. I don't want that to go for nothing.
You can't see the wood borer unless you're watching the video.
Well,
all right.
That's why you should
we
watch
have viewers
the video.
now.
We do?
Hey, everybody.
All right.
Hey, you all, everybody. How's it going?
You missed me threatening Jim with this here wood borer. So
yeah, he was going to turn me into a Ken doll.
We had some technical difficulties. Oh, 1 5/8. That's generous. Very generous. Okay, so what are we? You just missed my big Annabelle.
Yeah, you're gonna have to rewind for that. It's pretty good. Check it out.
Maybe disturbing. Maybe something that I shouldn't let out in the public. But what else do we want to talk about? You mentioned about Mr. Robot, starting Mr. Robot, and like what that entails.
Yeah, and like we've got a couple new podcasts coming up, and I thought it'd be interesting to tell people what we do when we have a new podcast coming up. You know, between like, of course, there's website stuff to do, like setting up different categories for it and new feeds and all that stuff. And before that, you've got to have, before you set up a feed, you've got to have an episode to put in the feed. So you need to have like an intro. If we're going to do intro music, there's usually a lot of like, contacting people to see if we can use their songs. For some of this stuff, I'd like to get, try some new stuff. You know, I'm always liking, I'm always enjoying.
You're gonna go True Detective on this
experimenting. No, not like that, but just like maybe some voiceover in an intro for Star Trek. Like, these are the episodes of the podcast, whatever.
Yeah,
it's continuing mission.
Podcast bald move.
Yeah, whatever we're gonna call it, Star Trek podcast. But we got a while on that one. The Mr. Robot one is the one I'm working on right now, and I've got to get cover art going, and that's always like a process for me.
Sure.
Where I have to like, okay, what is it about the show that kind of defines it in my mind? And how do I translate that visually? Right. And it tends to take me like a couple of weeks to even just let it fester. Just like think about it for 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, let it kind of fester and stew and see what comes out of it. And then, you know, it typically only takes me like a couple of hours to actually create the artwork, but I've got to have that initial idea. So like that can take a while, and it's not like just, I'm going to sit down and this is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like I've got to let it marinate for a while. So I'm currently in that process. I'm trying to decide, and part of that is probably going to be a rewatch.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I definitely got to rewatch it because I watched it casually as a fan.
Me too.
And kind of binged it, and I've seen many times the difference between watching it as a podcast, or we're watching it 2 or 3 times and taking notes and discussing. My retention for information is dramatically different from when I'm just watching it as a casual. Yeah. So I definitely want to do that. Do we want to debut our alternative way to send us Q&A today? I feel like we should.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
So I'm going to. Is there any way that I can just type something onto this screen to have it display?
Like a question?
No, like yeah, just like I'd like to type something and have it display on the screen.
Is it on other?
Huh?
Is it under other?
No, it's not.
No.
What is our hashtag? We didn't decide this. You want to do hashtag bald
lunch?
Lunch?
Didn't we do bald lunch?
Okay. Hashtag bald lunch. So if you tweet stuff, hashtag bald lunch, BALDLU. Well, if you can't spell both of those and put it together,
we don't want your
ask us a question. But yeah, you just send that, and there you go.
Hashtag bald lunch. Oh shit! There's already like 8 things.
Oh shit! Nice. You can also use the QA app, but I've heard it's been flaky of late, and yeah. So there you go. Hashtag bald lunch. I'm gonna work on getting that onto the screen as you continue. You know, you talk about the images. Every once in a while, I try I'm not a graphic designer.
Right.
I like to draw and paint and stuff, but that's
You're good at that. Yeah.
Very distinct skill from actual graphic art.
Because I can do graphic design, I cannot fucking draw to save my life.
So I think it's interesting because some of the ones I've come up with I've been kind of proud of. Like I liked the Better Call Saul one I did, although when I look back at it, it seems pretty amateurish and crappy. But I was really proud of the Penny Dreadful one I did. I thought that looked really good. I thought that was fairly well executed.
What does that look like?
Let me see. I can probably find you a picture of it if our website's going to cooperate.
Because you use screenshots for all of the...
Can you type in baldmove.com/vampire?
Oh.
I think it's /vampire.
Well, no, I changed that. That's my personal webpage on Bald Move.
Wait. That's not what I wanted. God damn it. Yeah, here we go. This is what I was wanting.
I cannot actually do that when you have control of the mouse and are doing shit on the computer.
Yeah, it's true. Here we go. Bloop, 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 bloop. Whoop. There we go.
Oh, you covered my face with a black screen.
And it still didn't work.
Nope.
Well, fuck it then. I don't care.
Yeah, you'd have to load it up as a web. You do it as a URL.
Okay.
Add it. Media
capture.
I think it's other.
Other?
Yeah. Web page URL.
Huh. All right. So type in baldmove.com/vampire.
That didn't do shit. Maybe it's having trouble loading it.
It could. But we had this problem with the Steve Harvey stuff last time we tried it too.
Yeah, using it as a URL fixed it last time.
But no, I found there was all so I did some research on Penny Dreadfuls, which are a real like a pulpy precursor to comic books.
Oh yeah, I have seen this. Okay.
And I did I just did a kind of like I found an old, and that's the nice thing about those old pulp things is they're all in the public domain, like every single one of them. And I found one, I can't remember what it was, but it was actually a series of it about vampires. And there's one where the dude is creeping over a lady, and I just found some gothic fonts, and I thought that was my finest work.
Yeah,
and of course it went into the show that was immediately canceled.
That's how I feel about the X-Files one. Like,
yeah,
I really love that X-Files art.
That was a good one too. Yeah,
and we used it, and I don't know if we're gonna use it again because, I mean, it might be fun just to do the next season. I
didn't have fun.
24 was more fun.
Yeah, 24 was
comparably listened to
because I found the way to kind of like find the right thing with that. But no, I don't know. I just here's the thing, like X-Files would have to come out and have a successful next season, and then we could maybe jump into the third reboot where it sucks again, and we're just locked in a never-ending cycle of fail. So what do you think on a Mr. Robot? I'm thinking,
I don't have anything yet. Still percolating.
The first thing that pops in my mind is like an Android type logo. You know, literally like the Android robot kind of outline, like some kind of cutesy cartoon Mr. Robot.
Oh, like Android OS.
Yeah, like something stylized like that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's probably gonna take me like rewatching it to really get a feel for it, I think. But we'll see.
Yeah. But I'm excited about
the
that.
thing I'm excited about most is having Eric do the logo for our Halt and Catch Fire podcast. I'm not gonna have to do that, so I'll probably come up with the intro.
So yeah, this is your first kind of like non-A-Run. Well, it's been the first time in a long time.
The first regular one, like we're gonna cover a whole show.
Yeah. So what? When does that start?
So I want to say
August.
Yeah, that's the predictions. AMC's website still says summer 2016.
Oh, so there's really no.
But there, like, we found one. Eric sent me a thing the other day that was like, "Hey, this website rando.com says that starts August 9th," and I'm like, "Okay, I can't corroborate that anywhere." So I don't know what their source is, but AMC isn't saying it yet, and you know, I'm assuming it'll go August 9th, but
yeah,
who knows?
What can you get to can is there any way we can get Jen up to Twitter thing to where we can split screen that?
Sure.
Yeah.
We can do a search.
Search for the bald lunch.
Yeah.
To baldly go where no lunch has gone before. Oh, I was trying
Hashtag bald lunch. Now this isn't gonna work, is it?
Why?
Let me see if I can.
Ooh, I like the first one. That's right up my alley.
Straight up the
competitive fitness challenge. Just the old Panfee.
Really? We're gonna bring back
Panfee.
Panfee isn't no. Oh
yeah, it worked. Oh, you got on the wrong screen though, dude.
Ah, motherfucker. Okay.
Well, yeah, get that out of there. Switch it over to
Aaron's head has become a Twitter feed.
Switch it over to scene 3 is what you want.
Can I get rid of this too? Let's get rid of this while I'm at it.
Do whatever you want, man. Just fuck with studio. 3? It's riveting.
Here, let's. Oh, there we go.
Oh, how the hell did that? Yeah, there's the penny earful that I did.
Ta-da! It's beautiful.
I thought it was good.
It is definitely your best.
Thank you. That's some damn faint praise.
What?
It is.
It's good.
It is definitely your best.
It is the finest work you've ever done.
Yes. Thank you for that, Jim.
Let's add another URL. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is riveting.
Yeah.
For
make
podcast
that, also
people.
make that bigger before you do. Oh, sorry. Oh, that's how you're gonna do it. Okay. I was not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck.
So now we got that. That's not gonna work.
Oh, it's gonna be beautiful. God damn it! I can't.
There you go.
Fine. No, I can't use the scroll things. Can I?
Yeah, you can. You can totally scroll that around. It's a Chrome instance.
No, but it's moving the whole window.
Well, yeah. Use your. Oh, I see what you're saying.
I can't. I got to click the arrows. Go over.
Aha.
Okay. Well, that's good.
There you go. So let's go with the first one, Chris C, and I'll get the.
Oh. Trying to bring it down here. Boom. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna also get the this thing going again.
The first one would be the most recent, so I think we should go from the bottom up.
Okay. Let's see.
And I'm gonna let you control that.
Wait, the first one is the most recent?
It's a nightmare. Yeah.
Well, I can't barely read that screen over there.
Well, I'm gonna read them. Well, I was gonna read them from my phone.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to handle the Q&A stuff here.
Okay.
So we want to take turns. We do one. This is exciting. We've got so much stuff to talk about.
Yeah, this Q&A, like, it's got to go.
It's going
Google
to be
Hangouts lunch Q&A gone.
Well, but right now we're going to tag team it. So first one is Dr. Ken said, Aaron said last week he wished he could do an advice show. You have your own network. Why not start a forum thread and pick questions every once in a while for a lunch segment? When you need one, I think it would be interesting.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
You are participating in that.
But I guess what he's saying is you should, if that's what you want to, he's got this radical idea. If that's what you should want to do, you should steer something that direction. Right. Okay. Yes, I will start that. I will start that this afternoon. I will start a Ask Jim and Aaron advice column. We need a pithy name for it. Bald advice, like bad advice, bald advice. Bald face lies, bald. I got
this. Speaking of processes,
yes, coming up with
for
names
a new
for shit.
podcast.
What's going to be
monkey fucker?
No,
XSplit.
XSplit stopped working. All right, well that's not fatal, right? or is it going to
No, we can change. Yeah, just go close that.
All right.
Oh, motherfucker.
We're having a bad time. I got it.
Give me this thing.
Okay.
Because I need to mark this.
All right. So yeah, what were we? Load grid person. Yeah, let's do that. Oh my God! Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Mr. Robot has hacked us. We were talking about him.
That's what's happened.
He heard. If it stopped working again.
Oh my God. Okay.
Fuck.
Let's try this one more time. The only thing I'm going to try to reload the previous because I wonder if the Twitter thing is crashing it.
Seemed like it did.
So,
XSplit is a piece of shit.
Well,
We need to get off that.
yeah.
Get on Wirecast or something. That's what the pros
There we
use.
go. Wirecast, really? Is that like how much is that? Because like yes,
like $500 for a license.
Okay, I think we can do that.
Oh, Steve Harvey's back. What the fuck?
Of course he is.
Get him off there before it crashes again.
Of course he is. Are
no,
you shitting me?
Don't do it.
Okay, we got it.
Okay, no more
URL adventurism.
God damn it.
But
sorry.
I still think is Steve Harvey still playing over the thing? Because I can hear him in my yeah, I can still hear him in my headphones. That's not good.
He's not playing over the
Well, that's nice.
The lunch thing, so who gives a shit? Oh God, it's gonna crash.
Just stop.
Steve, we don't need you right now.
All right, God, this is a lot harder than I thought it'd be. Yes, coming up with names. What are we going to call Mr. Robot?
Right,
we can't
we
do another
discuss.
fucking Mr. Robot, a Mr. Robot podcast.
But we have to do something.
Part of
Mr.
me
Robot
dies.
podcast.
A part of me dies every time we do that.
You know, I bet half the reason we're successful with Game of Thrones is because it's called Game of Thrones podcast, and people go and search Game of Thrones podcast for the first result.
Yeah. But again,
whatever.
The cost of that was like I don't know how much of a part of me dies, but eventually all of it will be dead, and then I'll just spontaneously drop dead as soon as you create the feed.
Right.
And you'll have to replace me and take all the
I'll
money.
Replace you with a robot
with a shell script.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that's the weird thing, right? Like there's this chain of events that needs to happen because in order to get like cover art, you need to have a name. So like first thing we need to do really is come up with a name for the show, which we haven't done. So I guess like over the next week or so, we need to talk about that and figure that out because we're not going to do it live here on the air. But it takes a while.
Yeah. That's like something I like to noodle, like sometimes in the shower or when I'm doing Patrol on Destiny or something, like it'll just like spontaneously come to me. And then same with you, I'm sure. Like a lot of times, every once in a while we'll get down to the wire and we'll lock ourselves in a studio and like we're just going to sit here and stare at each other for 3 hours until either we come up with something great or we reduce to Mr. Robot podcast.
Yeah, and typically that happens when we're writing things like those skits for Walking Dead. We'll just sit and write for
I find that like writing is that kind of stuff is easier than coming up with titles. It's a different type of because you can just start noodling dialogue and getting silly and you can stumble into stuff, whereas brainstorming titles for things is hard.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not a difficult process. It's just you gotta give it the space it needs, I guess.
Well, maybe that's the thing. I don't have a process for like noodling my way into something with naming things. Whereas writing these two characters, it's Carol and Glenn. I know what they're like.
What are their motivations?
Yeah, they're beautiful characters. Wind them up and watch them play.
Right. So that's kind of the first thing. Get the name, you get the cover art, you get the intro, you get the podcast, you get the feed, you get the category, you get it in iTunes. You're good.
And all those things you cannot create a feed until you have a podcast. So like all those things have to happen. Which is why it takes like a day or two once we have a podcast ready to go for it to be on iTunes, because you literally can't post it to iTunes until you have that first article, or that first podcast. Yeah.
And with the Star Trek thing, I'd like to do, like I said, some kind of like voiceover thing or something.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a lot of fun, but I would like to get famous people to do it.
Wait,
I would like to try to get famous.
Was there 2 question marks? Famous?
There's at least 2 question marks in that.
All right.
Sentence.
I
would like.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to do that's cool.
I think we could get like a Will Wheaton, right? I mean, Will Wheaton, he's you can hire him as a voice actor.
The other thing, you know how you used to do like the plot breakdowns for True Detective? You had the monotone NPR Jim come on and be like, in this week's episode.
Oh, it was Noir Jim. That's Noir Jim. Like, it's a very subtle difference between NPR and Noir Jim. But
what if we had a captain's log at each episode?
Right.
Where we had like a kind of ridiculous summation of what happened this week.
I think that'd be awesome. I'd love to do that.
Red shirts live, red shirts die. We live to explore another day. All right. That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Brainstorming.
I like that a lot. I think we should do that.
Got a full-on Category 5 brainstorm happening right here.
But I was trying to think of like other people. Like, I think it'd be cool to get George Takei. He's kind of like hooked into the...
George Takei did Taco Bell. I'll be offended if he won't do a bumper for our podcast.
I mean, they probably paid him a lot more than we can afford to pay him. But, you know, he's like on Twitter and like he's hooked into kind of internet culture in a way.
Probably has become like this massive figurehead for kind of internet culture at large.
Right.
Which is why, you know, the Taco Bell stuff works.
So I'd at least like to ask him.
Yeah, sure.
And shit, I'll ask William Shatner. I mean, I freaking love William Shatner.
You do.
I'm sure that we would have to pay him and he's probably more expensive than we can afford.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he'd just do it on a lark for free. But I don't know. I was also thinking maybe some other like podcasters that we like Like maybe try and contact Dan Harmon. He'd probably tell you to go fuck yourself, but unless you paid him, he'd probably ask for that sweet cheddar.
But you might be able to get
extra sharp.
You might be able to get his dungeon master Spencer, the Sixler.
Oh, there you go.
I'm pretty because he just hangs out on the Harmontown subreddit.
Rob Schraub, is that his name?
Rob Schraub, maybe not, because he's directing the new Lego movie. He's got
Jesus.
He's probably got he's wealthy now.
Yeah. What about the comptroller guy? Who's that?
Jeff Davis.
Could you get him?
Well, I mean, does whose line is it anyway? He's got a like people that have
come on.
People have a regular paycheck. I don't think we're going to be able to get.
No, I think if you pay them, certainly you could.
Okay, sure.
That's their profession.
Jeff Davis money.
Probably
Jeff Davis money.
Depends on whose line it is anyway. Come on.
Yeah. I
mean, Drew Carey went from there to Price is Right.
Don't talk shit about Jeff. If it gets back to him, he's never going to do it.
That's true.
Okay, so
they're all far more successful than we are.
Yes.
Let's just keep that baseline there.
Yep.
I'm thinking like, Kumail might be interested because he does the X-Files podcast. So he actually runs his own podcast.
What do you think about Kumail on the movie trailer last night?
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, easily the best thing about that movie.
I mean, he was actually rubbing his butt against another or woman's
I think it was a nude woman. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Just like swing it suspended from the ceiling.
He was playing this kind of, I know he's Pakistani, but it looked like an Indian masseuse. And he was like in the kind of stereotypical loincloth butt towel thing. And he was oiled up head and he had this ponytail and he was lashing her body with the ponytail. And he was doing all these just smash shot after smash shot of him doing these improbably erotic massages on her.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty amazing. Mostly because of the shock of seeing Kumail nude. Like it's just.
Yeah, and he was on the sex swing, and he was rotating his oiled buns over her oiled buns, and he said, and he was calling each position. He said, "Touching souls by touching holes." Or something.
Right.
Yeah, he's so hot right now. You know,
he is. Yeah, he's everywhere.
Yeah,
including podcasting, and I'm hoping maybe we could get him to do something.
Okay, shall we? Do you want to do a Twitter Q&A? Yeah.
Let me pull up the feed here. Should we start with the oldest ones first?
Sure. Let's go for it.
Okay. So Michael McBride, 3 days ago. So, Aaron, how did your son react to the Rise of Iron trailer? Since you cried over it after all, what is he talking about?
That's the new Destiny trailer.
Oh, right.
He made me watch it 4 times in a row. Because it was just before, and I did it. I should have, because I meant to as soon as I got him, like, hey, hit him up the trailer, and we got busy and we got doing things, and it wasn't like just before bedtime, and like trying to get a kid to go to sleep after you get him that hyped up on something.
Yeah,
exercising. Still, bad job of parenting by me, but no, he immediately wanted.
Great job kidding by him though. That's what you do as a kid.
He wanted to immediately go because he's had this GameSpot gift certificate from Christmas that's been burning a hole in his pocket.
Wow.
And, well, not really burning because he's kept it on since Christmas.
Yeah.
But he found out that you can get like this Rise of Iron poster if you pre-order through GameSpot, and he hasn't understand the futility of pre-ordering. So we're going. He made plans immediately to go down to GameSpot and acquire said poster. Yeah, it was a big hit. It was a big hit. It was nice.
Said poster now on his wall, or
we actually haven't followed through on that plan yet.
Okay.
Because that's the other thing that he does with the kids is where he gets psyched up and makes plans and then doesn't follow through. And it's not that big a deal for me. So I'm pretty terrible about following through on like asking, like remembering like a note. Hey, remember last time for bedtime you're so hyped up? Let's go do that now. You know, it's like you just get caught up in the day to day.
Okay.
Cats in the cradle and the silver spoon.
That's a really dark song. I don't think you want it to go to that territory.
Well, you know, I could be the parent to make sure all of his kids' dreams are fulfilled, and I'm
could be the parent. Cats in the cradle guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to split the difference.
Okay,
split the difference between one of those Disney dads and not giving a fuck.
Let's go to Chris Chambers. Says, your thoughts on the honorable killing debate in the Game of Thrones spoiler thread? Seen it? We don't probably want to talk about spoilers here, yeah?
Nah.
Okay.
Plus, I have no idea what they're talking about. There's so many Game of Thrones threads.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
And like, there's like a 2-day stretch where I don't even get the chance to go on the forums, and I miss a lot of stuff.
Okay. How about Michael Hernandez says, last comment, I'm about to start The Wire. I've heard pros and cons between HD and SD. Do you have any thoughts on this?
You got to do HD.
I would go HD, but
definitely
if you're David Simon, you're not. You're saying SD.
Definitely read David Simon. He wrote a blog post about the pros and cons and kind of laid it out as a creator. But for my money, the visual fidelity is, there are a dozen kind of visual gags that work better in standard def and standard screen, like, you know, 3-4, because they're intentionally trying to ape a closed circuit television thing, and the way they some of the way they frame certain words are you know, kind of like a Vince Gilligan type. I forget like one character was underneath a hamburger and one was under hot. That's not the real example, where it's like hot and cold, and it was all framed beautifully when it's 4:3 aspect ratio, and it doesn't work when it's 16. Is it 16:7? 16:9?
Yeah.
It's not as framed up nicely, but like that shit pales in comparison to the clarity. Beauty. Oh yeah. Like that really put me off the first episode or two of The Wire when I was watching it, like how shitty the standard def looks on a nice television.
Yeah.
So and I had the box set. My buddy Nick loaned me the box set of The Wire, so I had, you know, the best upsampling a PlayStation 3 could give. But it's still it's so much better.
So I guess it depends on your hardware too. If you're watching on a Trinitron from the 90s, fucking go for the SD.
Yeah, actually, if you want the full experience, go pick up like a 36-inch Magnavox tube,
right,
or RCA or whatever, and hook it up to your DVD somehow through coaxial splitter or some kind of bullshit technology, and watch it the way it was meant to be watched.
Anna Duarte at the Anna Duarte. I'll just call it Duarte.
A voice in the wilderness.
This is one for you. Are you guys interested in the relaunch of the Gilmore Girls on Netflix? If yes, will there be a podcast? # bald lunch.
Huh.
I'm going to say that on every
one. When is it? Where is it being relaunched?
Netflix. I am not. I didn't
with
care
the
for
original cast, because I saw an article on Alan Sepinwall's site that was talking about the return of small town television, because that's saying that the whole conceit of this is there was, you know, a mother and daughter running a bed and breakfast at this small town of Stars Hollow, and how like modern sitcoms seem to be increasingly like the characters live in LA, or they live in New York, or they live in Chicago, or they live in Atlanta.
Sex
they don't
city syndrome.
Yeah, they don't live like in bumfuck nowhere.
You know why?
Why?
Because there aren't as many people in bumfuck nowhere to watch the shows.
I'm kind of excited. I reached back out last year. I talked to these girls these women that do a Gilmore Girls podcast, and I talked about coming in and doing a guest spot with them, and they're in the middle of season 4 right now. And I reached back because I was going through, one of them sent me in a feedback for Game of Thrones, unrelated, and I saw her name. She's got a very distinctive name, like Celeste. And I saw her name, and I'm like, oh, fuck. And it like, I forgot about the commitment I made like 8 months ago. And I wrote her a response and said, you know, thanks for the feedback. Also, I'm a giant shitbag. I know I committed to doing that like at the height of Game of Thrones season. It's like, and I know I didn't follow up on that, and we're in the middle of another Game of Thrones season, but please, if I do not get back with you at the end of Game of Thrones, would you please reach out? Because I'm still would love to do, because it turns out both of these women are local. Like they live in Cincinnati, so like they could come over to the studio. I don't know how you feel about that. Or I could just like,
yeah,
that's your home.
Studio, right? So the studio is my house right now. It might not be for much longer because I'm planning on moving in the next 2-3 months.
Right.
So I don't know what we're gonna do at that point, but we'll figure something out. And I don't actually want it in my house. It's such a nuisance.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, you got you and Cecily coming over 2 nights a week, and I'm gone a night a week, and then the other night we're watching movies, and like I don't want every night to be interrupted, I guess. So we might switch it up, and then who gives a fuck?
Sure.
Like, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I do want to do that, and I loved the original Gilmore Girls. So yeah, I'll definitely check it out. Is it a remake or just like a decade later? This is where Lorelai and Rory are at now.
He says relaunch of the Gilmore Girls. I don't know what that means exactly, but and I haven't heard anything. And even if I did, I wouldn't care. So
okay, before you, I gotta pull attention to the Q&A app.
Oh well, I have a feeling some of these are coming through on the hashtag bald lunch.
Oh, we'll see. Dr. Kin said, I'm in on Star Trek, but are you worried that nobody is going to pay for CBS All Access and there won't be much of an audience? I'm concerned it will fail even if it's good, and I think it will be good. Yeah, that's totally a valid concern.
Yeah.
But I mean, it can't possibly do worse than X-Files. Like, X-Files was a giant fucking failure for us on all fronts. The
show was bad.
Yeah.
The podcast didn't get any downloads. Like,
yeah, it was a shit show. So like everyone said, you know, on the other hand, like Game of Thrones is fucking ridiculous for us right now. So I don't mind doing something that I love and I appreciate. And like, I honestly, I would keep doing The Leftovers if it got 1,000 downloads.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it's not. It's been a good mid-sized hit for us. But there's a couple shows where I like them so much I don't really even give a shit.
Yeah, same here. I would never have quit Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
even if it was
there's another good example.
50 people, I don't care.
Right. So there's a couple of these shows like
Game of Thrones at this point. If it was 20 people listening, I wouldn't care. I would still do it.
Yeah, there's a couple shows where you know, I don't know. I almost feel like all of our shows, the ones that we keep doing, the reason we're doing them is because we enjoy them, regardless of the traffic. I don't think there's any show that we are still doing only because of traffic. The Walking Dead's the only one that comes close. But I always tell people that, like, in Walking Dead's one of our shows that has been getting a smaller audience instead of going up, where it's like kind of stagnated.
Yeah, it fluctuates. It's somewhere in the stagnation range.
But I don't know if people believe me or not, but I have a lot of fun doing The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of podcast, and it's one there it seems where we get to make a lot more jokes.
Right.
And just like admire the absurdity of it. And but yeah, also on every once in a while it does something to surprise you. So
sure.
So there you go. You back over to hashtag bald lunch.
Hashtag bald lunch.
Cracking, popping.
Chris Chambers says hashtag bald lunch. Would you guys consider doing a group challenge / program with listeners trying to get back on fitness wagon? He says
yes.
Ball busting is a key component to any fitness program.
Yes. So back in the day when we had the rivalry with Personal Arrogance, they created PANFI.
Right.
Which is the Personal Arrogance Nerd Fitness Initiative. And they did kind of like a weekly check-in. And I don't know if they had a Google Doc or what. I don't know whether we want to like chart weights where I don't know what this looks like, but yes, because I'm kind of in the mode of trying to lose weight and get back into shape. And
there are like those websites that track fitness and we'll do group stuff. So we could hook up on one of those and do it if we wanted to.
Yeah, and I guess like if you're embarrassed about putting your height and weight anonymously someplace, then don't do it. But
right.
That would be kind of fun.
Yeah, I've been doing some hiking.
And as soon as Game of Thrones is over, I'm going to be more inclined to execute on some of these ideas, because right now I'm just kind of trying to white knuckle the podcast experience.
Right.
But yeah, because like that's the thing, because I'm really into sailing right now, but I suspect it's not super active. Like, unless I'm actively flipping over to boat after it's capsized, or like there's very little activity. It's essentially sitting, and sometimes you stretch out to like keep the boat trim, but like there's not a lot of calories being burned.
Yeah.
And it's replaced kayaking and biking, which was really good. But it's so much fucking fun.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think kayaking is fun. I want to go to a faster river, to something that's a little more challenging.
Sure.
because this 0 or whatever the hell we're doing, this class 1.
Yeah, class 1 minus.
Yeah.
So yeah, why I'll tell you, just like I told the women to do the Gilmore Girls podcast, like check back in a couple weeks if we don't think of it, because I think we're both interested in doing something with that. All right, back to the Q&A app. This one's for Jim. Since you're a big ScarJo fan, I finally saw Under the Skin last night. Jim, please tell me you saw this film. Not only do you get to see a lot of ScarJo, but the movie is a brain-bending one I think could make for a good commission.
Yeah,
Fern from New York City.
Come on, of course I've seen it, Fern.
I haven't seen it.
Of course. I hear ScarJo is full-on nude. Yeah, I'm going to watch that.
Full-on nude. F-O-N.
Full-on, yeah.
She's fawn.
It's all there. I've seen everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I kind of skipped around for the parts that I was interested in, but
oh, seriously, you didn't watch the whole movie? You literally watched it for the nudity?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I was curious. I had to see what 30-year-old ScarJo looks like.
Okay,
looking pretty good. ScarJo, keeping it together.
A lot better than 40-year-old Aaron. All right,
better than 30-year-old Jim too.
Come on, before this gets creepier. Snap it on. Come on, let's another hashtag bald lunch.
Hashtag bald lunch. Well, Laney Love reiterates the Wire thing. Wants us to do Rome as well.
Rome? Wants us to do what with Rome?
Podcast about it. Rewatch podcast.
Unlikely. All rewatches are very unlikely at this point, except for the Game of Thrones one we've already announced and committed to.
Michelle Toole, hashtag bald lunch, says, I love how Lunch with Jim and Aaron has turned into Beard Watch 2016. Hashtag Beard Watch 2016. How are you? How are you doing over there?
I'm unhappy with my rate of bearding. We are 1 week into the beard regrowth, and I don't know if it's because it's so much gray that it's not showing up.
It's hard to see, yeah.
I don't know if I got some low T. My testosterone's dropping, but I'm about half the beard I thought I would have at the end of a week. I'm not super happy with it.
Damn.
It's going to be cool. I think either tomorrow, today, if we have time, or maybe Monday, I'm going to go get my head shaved again. So then, like, I'll
How often
match.
do you do that? Like, seems like every week you've been.
I do it like I know when it's time to do it, because like the side, like my sides will start to poof out like this, and like when it gets to that point, it's time to do it again. But I don't have like a set like, oh, it's 3 weeks, got to go do it. It seems like it's about. My hairdresser says it's between 4 to 6 weeks.
Really?
Like I also like I try to time it. Like I got a vacation coming up the week after July 4th weekend where I'm going to go to be around with my kids. And I would never shave right before I do that, because I'm just asking for a full head sunburn.
Oh, right.
So
I thought you wanted to be like Dolphin Smooth for swimming.
No. I want to like a 2 week stubble.
Okay.
This is because that gives me like I'm still have to wear sunscreen on my head, but it's not like a complete smoke show up there.
Okay.
just fire coming off of it.
Wait,
no, don't fucking double dip.
Alternate, okay.
Let's see. Danny H said we're going to go to UK politics again. Well, the UK left the EU and now we're fucked over here. 75% of people age 16 to 24 voted stay, as did 60% of ages 25 to 39. 70% of the people age 65 plus left. They take away our easy travel, stable future, but they all get to die in 20 years. Thanks, old fuckers. You know what, though?
I love it.
You know what, though? It's why don't young people show up and vote? Because the old fuckers do, and the young people don't. And
guess what? There are more young people than old fuckers.
Yeah, well, that's becoming not true in the Western world, but still, like with that
more,
kind of split,
more than 60. I guarantee there are more 65 minus than 65 plus.
Oh, well, that's probably true altogether.
Okay.
But no, but it is conventional wisdom that if you're under like retirement age, you cannot be relied to show up and vote. And
because we don't have a national voting day of like, hey, you get work off, and it's not a holiday.
That's such a fucking bullshit excuse. You know what?
Young people have shit to do. Retire old ass motherfuckers. Yeah, but
new iPhones released, new game comes out, new movie. We'll do.
You gotta take a day off work to get this done.
I'm just saying that's the problem. That right there is the problem. And it seems like if I were a UK person, that I would want to stay in the EU. And it also seems like this is going to cause a lot of chaos in your guys' life, because now I've already Scotland saying, well, hold the door. we narrowly agreed to stay with you guys, but a lot of the sway was we get to stay in the EU, and there was like a uncertain path forward if we left. And I've heard that like maybe Ireland will unite and leave the UK. So it's just going to be Great Britain.
It's amazing.
Not even that. It's just going to be fucking England and Wales. Like Scotland and Ireland leave, and what do you got? You don't even have the fucking island anymore.
I'm real happy that this happened.
Why?
Just because it's fucking insane. Like I never would have guessed.
You're really leaning into the Chinese proverb about living in interesting times. Like just lean.
Why
into
not,
that.
man? Why not live in interesting times? I'd much rather.
I tried to vote for peace, prosperity, and security, but what do I know?
But you know, hashtag interesting times. Let's do this.
Well, then vote for Trump. Go double down, vote for Trump.
Right.
Keep pulling that lever and see.
Well, it's one thing when it happens to people on like thousands of miles away.
Side of the Atlantic.
Yeah, it's another thing when it's happening here.
Look at Jim's isolationist policy of xenophobia.
Yeah, I don't want my daily life disrupted, but their lives, sure. No problem.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm good friends with a Brit expat, and she is fucking having a meltdown on Facebook right now.
It's a huge deal.
And what's the real ball buster is I can't believe a simple majority is enough to overturn a massive status quo. Like in the United States, to amend the Constitution, which is something kind of like this level of gravitas, you need a 2/3 majority. And I always thought that seems like it's smart, because if you want to change the way things are right now, like the way things, I forget, there's actually like a legal precedence called like stare decisis, which is essentially the way things are holds more weight than the way things potentially could be.
Huh, okay.
But I like that, because it's like if something's so fucked up, then you should be able to talk 2/3 of the people into changing it, versus you got now a situation in the UK where 52% of people want to leave, 48 wanted to stay, and now like that 4% swing is going to, like, that's a lot. That's a bummer for the 48%.
Oh man, imagine what Texas is doing now. They're like, oh, we've got an example to follow.
Well, first of all, Texas, if you crack a history book, you'd see that we've had our own succession
tried before.
Yeah, that whole rebel flag y'all like so much down there. There's something to that.
But they're back at it. They're like, okay, it's a new day.
Well, plus, I mean, this is some interesting trivia. But did you know that in Texas state constitution, they have built in the power to secede from the United States and to create 6 sovereign mini states within Texas?
Right, but that's like Colorado saying, "Hey, feds, we're just going to legalize marijuana, and please don't come arrest us." Like, they have to get permission to secede.
I don't think they have to get permission. They just have to have the United States allow it to happen.
That's what I mean. That is inherent permission.
Not to roll the 5th Mountain Division down there to put a stop to it all.
Right. Like, okay, we built this into our Constitution, but what does the federal government have to say about it? What do the rest of the states that you coexist with have to say about it?
Well, and then it's like murky, because the whole reason Texas did that is to be able to add a whim balance to free versus slave states, because
like, so that the vote would go their way. They would like, no, we're just gonna abstain. We're gonna
because like that's the whole tension between the House of Republicans, which are or House of Representatives, which are based by population, versus the Senate, which is based just you get 2 senators if you're a state.
Right.
So I think there was the concern that there was some kind of law says you can't have any more slave states. So Texas decided to have to where they could just split up into 6 in case it got, and then we fought a civil war and freed the slaves and struggled for civil rights, and still haven't quite got there. But it would be interesting for something like that to happen. It definitely provoke a constitutional crisis.
Yeah.
Is this where the Queen gets on her corgis and says, "I forbid it. We will not leave the EU"?
I feel like there will never be a better opportunity in her lifetime.
Yeah.
To swoop in and nullify something.
Yeah. I forbid it. I don't know. So yeah, there's your international politics corner.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Hashtag bald lunch. Eric, let's just say at Kunanan EC. Aaron introduced my 12-year-old nephew to Rick and Morty. He loved it. What's your thoughts as a parent for a 12-year-old watching Rick and Morty?
I'd allow it. Honestly, when my son gets to be 13, it's pretty much going to be Katie bar at the door.
Okay.
And when he's 16, like, I really don't feel like it's my place to police his entertainment at all.
All right.
Like, the way I look at it is, like, if you're
that.
16 and you cannot make good decisions about what you watch with your eyeballs or listen with your ear holes, you're like years away from like making all your own decisions and forming like there's got to be a slow release of the parental responsibility.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think 13 is like within reason. And then 16, it's like, I might not agree with all your choices you make, but I hope you always feel like you can discuss them with me and you keep me appraised of them and I can give you advice, but it's you know, going to be pretty hands off. So I think you're about right. It's funny because my son is hanging out with some other Bald Move listeners online's kids. Mm-hmm. And one of them is a 12-year-old girl who introduced him to the how did he get onto this? It's the X going to give it to you part of Rick and Morty. So that was a big reference in that, and he's like, Dad, I want to see this. Dad, I want to see this. So I showed it to him, like a censored version of it. And of course, it's hilarious, and he wants to see more. And I'm like, man, I really kind of want to sit down and watch Rick and Morty with you, and just see what happens. But I just don't.
He's probably not
with his mother, who's
got
got like a hair trigger for my shenanigans anyway. I'm playing it safe. Playing it safe.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's certainly adult information. There's certainly like adult in the truest sense of the word stuff that goes on in Rick and Morty.
Right. Stuff that'll probably just go over his head.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
Yeah. So
like he's not going to get the Cronenberg stuff.
No. I mean, he'll get on some level, but I'm talking about just, I don't know, like
he's not going to understand why they're calling them Cronenberg.
Like, for example, like I can see that where Rick falls back in love with the collective entity, and and they break up, and at the end he's essentially trying to commit suicide, but he's too drunk to successfully pull it off, and he passes out before the thing can annihilate his head. And I can just see my son being like, why is that happening? And I'm like, man, I don't know how to tell you what it feels like to have your heart broke and to suffer from a substance abuse problem and to be like super intelligent nihilist on top of all that, and to have like your family there's no way. Most of his questions he's asked me in his life have fairly simple answers. That's why I kind of think you don't want to show kids too much adult information, because the answers stop becoming simple, and it's more like, well, what do you think? And you don't have the life experience to even make value judgments about that.
Yeah,
like I'm not afraid.
Like Louis C.K. You wouldn't watch that with him. I mean,
sure,
well, there's no point.
Right.
He's not going to get any of it.
Like there's some parents that like don't want their kids to find out that some dudes put their dicks in other dudes' butts. That's easy to explain.
Right.
Really.
Some men love other men.
You're aware of sex, right? And,
yeah.
Well, this is just
the way you like girls. Some boys feel that way about other boys.
Yeah. Like, but when you start talking about like, the fine points of, foreign policy and why World War III is unlikely to happen, but still scary. Like that's the shit I'm trying to protect him from.
Yeah.
Like the really big, like, oh God, stare into the abyss kind of things.
Yeah.
Did I just ask that question? You did. Okay.
That was all the hashtag bald lunch. We've got some other various ones, people talking amongst themselves in hashtag bald lunch now.
Oh,
so it's taken a life of its own already.
Love it.
First episode.
Mr. Sab says, where do you see Bald Move in 5 years?
Oh boy, this is like kind of the crisis point that I feel like I'm coming to, because like our biggest show by far is Game of Thrones, and when that's over, I'm a little worried that there's nothing.
But we said that about Breaking Bad.
Large enough to but at that point, it was an order of magnitude smaller than this is, and all of the new shows that we've seen come up lately have been orders of magnitude smaller than.
There's always going to be a culture phenomenon. The question is, will we be interested in covering it?
And will it be TV based? Like that's like I don't know. We don't do a whole lot of stuff in gaming. Gaming seems to be where a lot of this stuff is going. Like, I'm just worried that it won't be sustainable in the same kind of way. Especially if all we are is a bunch of, 2-bit bumfuck nobodies in the middle of nowhere still. So, like, what I would really like to happen over the next couple of years is us to, make some more connections with other podcasters, other entertainment people. Like, I feel like that's a way to shore up success for Bald Move. Like Chris Hardwick is doing, right? I mean, he's not just doing a podcast on a TV show. He's diversifying into a lot of different things. And I think that's the way to success for media companies.
Well, it's a way for a certain type of success. And I agree with some of that. But on the other hand, like Chris Hardwick's a product of Hollywood. So he's pursuing the traditional Hollywood thing. I guess some ways, if I say where Bald Move is in 5 years, we have a small office. We have about 6 people working with us. Hopefully all of them can be on the creative side, but also they all are bringing in, like, they're shoring up weaknesses that we have, weaknesses in both our connections and our skill set and our sensibilities. And otherwise, like, I feel like we'll have snazzier, like, audio visual stuff. And we'll have, like, so right now we're not really happy with the camera technology and the lighting and all that shit, but we're so close to moving studios that we're kind of like postponing it. But I feel like it's going to look better and slicker. And also there's some challenges, that's the other thing that is on my summer lull thing, is to finally get this financial thing out, because I want to communicate with, I kind of want the financial videos is becoming like a state of the Bald Move union. Like, what are our big opportunities? What are our big threats? What are, now this is how our financial picture looks. Here are some things that can make it better or worse. And these are kind of the uncertainties that Jim and I grapple with. But honestly, it's kind of like the same, only there's a few more people working with us. We have health insurance. We got our retirement counts going again.
But something, like, in my mind, something has got to change for that to happen. Like, because we're not growing at a rate that sustains a 6-person office in the next 5 years.
I don't agree with that. I feel like that I don't think we will, because we can't foretell the opportunities that we'll have in the future. I feel like that we'll get them, and we also don't have the skill sets to make those opportunities. But I feel like if we keep doing what we're doing, we're like on the grasp of having those opportunities brought to us, just like every other one's. Like, we used to worry about advertising. How are we going to get ads? We used to worry about how we're going to get into those things. Have kind of come to us because we do concentrate on the core product, and we try to service our fans as best as we can, like, get them what they want. And because of that, we've become successful, and we've become noticed, and we've gotten some of these other things. And I feel like if that's just we're snowball.
My biggest problem is we're still extremely isolated in everything we do. I mean, we don't make connections with anyone.
Sure.
I mean, the biggest, like, we occasionally make connections with other podcasters, but those are typically people who are like, I've decided to podcast because I heard you guys and liked what you do. And, they've created some successful podcasts of their own.
Well, they're all our size or smaller.
Right.
Like, we don't have any, we've got like peers at best, but we don't have any like mentors that are pulling us forward. Like, for example,
and that's the scary thing.
Robert Koo just retired from Penny Arcade after 15 years. And Robert Koo discovered the guys at Penny Arcade at about the size that we're at now. And he turned them into this big international thing, and like turned them into millionaires, and got them on the Time Top 100 influential tech people list. And like, all that stuff happened because of Robert Koo's guidance and vision. So we don't have a Robert Koo, and that's always kind of been our problem. We have two. We've got.
But that's kind of my point. Is like, doing what Penny Arcade was doing and just continuing to do it might not have been enough by any stretch to get them to where they wanted to be.
Well, and
this is
actually a microcosm of the debate Jim and I are always having, because my philosophy is I acknowledge the wisdom of what you're saying, and yet, like Mike and Jerry from Penny Arcade, I had no idea how to execute that plan. It's like, you want, sure. I think you're boiling down is like, we need to be our own Robert Koo.
Or we need to at least be enough of a coup to find a coup. Like, because we were terrible. We were fucking horrible at podcasting when we first started.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think we've gotten a lot better in the ensuing 5-6 years, but like, you're never going to be great at something when you first start it, but you've got to start it to ever get good at it.
Yes, but there's also some things that, like, I don't think you say we're terrible at podcasting. I think we were terrible at the execution of podcasting. Like, the personalities and rapport and the chemistry that have made a success were always there. It's just peeling back all the other bullshit, the bad audio quality, the scheduling issues, the processes to let that natural talent shine. Neither one of us are schmoozers or salesmen or marketers or business, degree havers. And I feel like that's something that there is natural aptitude, and working at it's only going to get you so far. But this is the debate we have. Like, this is essentially the state of the art of it.
Right. I don't think you have to be the best at it in the field, like schmoozing or creating networking opportunities, to actually be successful enough to get people on board who can do the things that you can't do. Right. Like, but you have to find those people. And if you don't ever look for those people who are going to be the ones to take it to the next level, then you're not going to find them.
Will Jim and Aaron make their valuable connections to take it to the next level, or will we plateau and collapse on our own weight? Find out next time on Bald Move.
Find out next year.
Essentially, same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah.
Okay, still me, yeah?
Yeah, we're done with the hashtag Bald Lunch.
Fern wants to know, Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad to Power Rangers. Heard about this yesterday. You're both big Cranston fans. Your thoughts? I have zero. What?
He's going to be playing Zordon.
Seriously? You knew about this? How did you not tell me about this?
I don't know. I just saw an article. I didn't read it. I saw a headline. He's apparently going to play Zordon, who I think was a disembodied voice. Yeah. No, he
was the disembodied voice in the vapor tube or whatever.
He was never shown.
Well, I mean, he had the watery face.
So, yeah, I thought so.
He was definitely a visage, but...
Right. So Bryan Cranston apparently is going to be that.
I was too old for Power Rangers. I have no affection for no source material.
Me either.
It's nothing but a source of ironic. I thought the Pink Ranger was hot.
Right.
My brother and sister were crazy about it. It's something that I tolerated on a periphery, so they would let me watch my Batman the animated series, and which I was probably too old for at the time anyway. But what are you going to do when you're 16 or 17 and you're bored after school? And in this stone age of the internet,
watch Power Rangers like I watched Dragon Ball Z, or not Dragon Ball Z,
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right. Garth G says, "Hold the Door too soon, Aaron." No. It's been 4 episodes. We can go back to Hold the Door. I think the flag's been a half mast for Hodor long enough. I said Hold the Door earlier in the podcast.
Oh, you did?
He was triggered.
Okay.
He was triggered. Let's see. Danny, I have no idea what he's referring to. This is amazing or whatever. Maybe it's back when we were doing all the technical issue bullshit, but
could be.
Anyway, Danny H says, I just finished your Darko cast, which I first watched at around 14 in 2004, and my mind was blown.
Yeah.
I know you'd watched the director's cut version, but I find the musical changes and pacing particularly frustrating compared to the original. Have you seen both versions?
Yeah, I think the original one I saw was, I think it was the director's cut. So I guess I haven't, because I watched it on DVD.
You probably saw the director's cut.
I probably saw the director's cut. I can't remember, but
I don't know. I didn't think it had any pacing or musical issues. So I bet it's one of those things where if I go back and watch the original, I probably won't really get what you said, because to me, the initial punch you in the face impact was with the director's cut. So, that's my version of Donnie Darko. If I go back, I'll probably be able to follow the story more. I don't know, like what is the bad musical choice?
I think one of the songs was changed at some point.
It wasn't the Gears of War song, was it? Because if that got changed, that would surprise me. And to me,
that's a good question, because if I saw the director's
song,
cut,
if that's something different in the original thing, then I can't imagine I'd like it more.
And I guess the other things, the quotes from the book weren't in there, like the chapter or whatever. Yeah, so
which that does kind of gives you the Rosetta Stone for understanding the movie.
Yeah,
but
so it was much more like what the fuck.
Yeah,
if you watch the non-director's cut.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind giving it 6 months to kind of purge from my system and then going. I do. The next time I watch the movie, I do want to see the non-director's cut.
Yeah,
but I feel like if I watched it now, it's just going to be too much of my memory of the director's cut interfering with my analysis of the old one. Let us see here. Danny H wants to know if we've seen any of Showtime's Billions. I have not.
Nope.
I did. One thing I did see is Bill Simmons' new Any Given Wednesday. Big Bill Simmons fan.
No. Okay.
I thought it was okay. I was surprised he went so heavy with the Boston shit. Like his first episode, half of it was a conversation with Ben Affleck about how Tom Brady got screwed in Deflategate, which I kind of have come around to their point of view. I think largely it's correct in that Tom Brady was railroaded, and it's much more about Roger Goodell's mad quest for power than the competitive advantage of inflated balls. And I say this as a person who cannot physically hate the Patriots more. But even then, it was a little fucking unsufferable watching these guys just completely go fucking into tank for a particular team, and didn't think it was a good look if you're trying to attract a wide audience on a show that, you know, like if you're a hardcore Bill Simmons fan, you know how he runs. But if you're just like, oh, who's this funny looking dude that looks like a lesser Kennedy brother or cousin with these piercing blue eyes, I'm going to check it out. Like the intro about LeBron James winning the championship with Cleveland was nice. His conversation with Charles Barkley was great as always. Charles Barkley's a fun interview, but when it got to Ben Affleck, I'm just like, oh, Jesus, really? We're going to spend 10, 15 minutes stroking ourselves off about how the Patriots have been, you know, the goddamn Patriots. They've only won 12 Super Bowls and all this other stuff, and they just whatever. It turned me off, and I'm a big Bill Simmons fan.
I did not watch it.
Yeah, I if it would have been more pop culture, I might have asked you to give it a chance. But since it was entirely sports based and pretty kind of inside ball sports based, I don't imagine you would think anything of it.
Yeah.
The set looks nice. He's got like a very nice kind of man cave thing going.
I would expect no less.
It looks like a more upscale version of his Grantland set. Yeah. So I think that is the lunch for today.
Okay.
So we will be back again next week. Hashtag bald lunch. Get that shit going. I'll try to have an overlay for next week so we can ask live questions. And there you go. Have a great weekend, guys. Don't forget to hit us up on that nerd fitness thing or the personal fitness challenge in about 2 or 3 weeks if we haven't mentioned it again. And we'll talk to you real soon. Have a good weekend.